getting to the end of our gummy bear. And when we started out, we laid out the dark values in a cool color, and I always choose Parma Violet just because I like Parma Violet. I laid everything out, all of the mid and dark values, and then went to some local color being the color of the object. In this case, we have an orange gummy bear. I used oranges, reds, yellows for the local color, and then for the cool colors to build up, I used indigo blue. I used this Caribbean Sea, which is in the set of 36. And what I did with the Caribbean Sea is if I had areas that were like a mid-tone dark, not a super dark value, but a mid-tone dark value, and the colors were needing to be toned down a little bit. If the orange was too bright or too intense, this Caribbean Sea did a really nice job of toning it down, but I didn't need a dark blue. If I had used an indigo blue here, it would have been way too dark. And then of course you'd come back in on top with your final color, which is your orange. And you're gonna get a nice toned down dark orange. So anytime you want to make something darker, you already know this, you're going to lay down your cool colors. That might be green, it might be blue, it might be violet. I stayed away from green with this gummy bear because this gummy bear is orange. So if I put a lot of greens in here, I would probably get a really ugly orange. The violets gave me a nice, rich, beautiful orange. So we're always after rich color. We're always after dimensional color. The more color you add to an area, the more dimensional the area will be. No flat color, so that our gummy bear is unique from somebody else's gummy bear. No two gummy bears will ever be the same. As for the highlights, I just worked around the area and kind of closed in on it, kind of like in a negative space format, left the area white like the paper. So these are my highlights. Rather than coloring everything in and trying to go back in with a white colored pencil, you're not going to get that bright white. If you have a white gel pen, you might try jotting a white gel pen at the end. Either way is fine. Where the edges need to be crisp, like between where the shadow and the gummy bear is, that edge is sharp and crisp. Inside the gummy bear, where this value goes to this value to this value, you want your transition and your edges to be soft because the light is sinking down into the object slowly instead of bouncing off like it is here. So always pay attention to your value edges, especially out here in your shadow. You want everything to have a nice gradual value transition and hue transition. As I get to my final layers, I'm pressing a little bit harder and I'm working that nice waxy finish. You just don't want to do that too soon because once you have too much wax on the paper, it's really hard to add more to it. So whatever your finish layer is, make sure that is your final push to get the wax into the tooth of the paper and get that nice, beautiful, waxy finish. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and go back to my time lapse, finish this off, and then we'll talk at the end. Okay, so we're down to the home stretch here. And this is just a recap on everything that we have done. We laid cool colors down first to establish our dark values. We started laying the local color in. Remember, we want rich color, we want to build color. And then we paid really close attention to value transitions. You want your shadow to be very chromatic. We did not use any black. We built our chromatic black in the darkest parts of the shadow. And the overall goal always is for your drawing to be a more rich and beautiful rendition of your reference photo. A reference photo is something that you refer to. I took some choices to make this a lot more purpley red than the original photo, and of course this is a very cold achromatic black, and I chose a very color rich chromatic black shadow. So the more colors that you use in any area, the richer your overall effect will be. You want to use those little circles. Do not want to press down very hard until the end to work the wax into the tooth of the paper. You start pushing down too soon, you limit the number of layers and potential colors that you can add to the drawing, because the wax will fill up the paper and then the paper won't take any more of the wax, and then it will just slide around and become a slimy mess, and we don't want that. So the very last layers that you put onto your gummy bear are the ones that you're going to press down the hardest, because this is your opportunity to activate all the layers of color underneath. So when I press down with this yellow, everything that's underneath comes bouncing to the surface. You really want to make sure that that last color that you use is really the finished color. So I hope you have enjoyed drawing your little gummy bear. I know you're going to be amazing. I know that whatever you do, you're growing your skills as an artist. You're growing your knowledge of color. Every time your pencil hits the paper, you're going to see improvement. So don't give up. You are going to be fabulous. And this is Tiffany Fox with Mrs. T. Fox Resources. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.